The invisible threads of fate, how spiritual forces shape love across time in your name. In the ethereal space between time, memory, and destiny, your name, Kimi no Nawa, unfolds as a beautiful and poignant exploration of love, fate, and the supernatural. Directed by Makoto Shinkai, the film tells the story of Mitsuha, a high school girl living in the rural town of Itamori, and Taki, a boy in Tokyo, who mysteriously swap bodies across time. Though they do not know each other's names, they experience a series of dreams and fleeting moments that bind their fates together. However, this love story is not merely a tale of two people finding one another across time. At its core, your name is a meditation on the invisible threads of fate that connect us all, and how spiritual forces or deities guide these connections, sometimes even without us realizing it. This article will explore how your name is not just a romantic tale, but also a deeply spiritual one shaped by the presence of kami, deities or spirits, and the influence of Shinto beliefs on the characters' destinies. The film presents a world where spiritual forces intertwine with human lives, guiding them toward their destinies while also testing them in mysterious ways. The spiritual undercurrent of your name is significant, as it speaks to the belief in Shintoism that humans are not alone in shaping their fates, that spirits, deities, and other supernatural forces play an active role in our lives. As we delve into the story of Mitsuha and Taki, we will examine how the supernatural elements of the film create a bond between them that is transcendent, unspoken, and guided by divine forces. Thematic exploration of fate and time. At its surface, your name presents a story about two individuals who are separated by time: Mitsuha, living in the past, and Taki, in the present. The plot centers around their mysterious body-swapping experiences, which seem to occur without rhyme or reason. However, as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that these seemingly random occurrences are not simply plot devices but symbolic elements designed to illustrate deeper spiritual truths. Time, in your name, is not a fixed entity. Rather, it is fluid and malleable. The body swap allows Mitsuha and Taki to experience each other's worlds, offering them glimpses into the future and past. The concept of time travel is often framed as a physical occurrence in many works of fiction, but in your name, time itself becomes a vessel for destiny. It is a medium through which the characters' fates can be intertwined and guided toward a greater purpose. In this way, time is less of a linear progression and more of a spiritual plane through which their connection is forged. For both Mitsuha and Taki, time serves as a guide. Mitsuha, living in the past, is unaware that her actions will influence the future. She makes seemingly insignificant decisions that will alter Taki's life in profound ways, just as Taki's choices will impact Mitsuha. The characters' paths seem random, but in reality, they are being subtly directed by something greater than themselves. It is as if their journey through time is a form of spiritual pilgrimage, guided by the invisible hands of fate. The role of spirituality and kami in your name. The spiritual elements of your name are rooted in Shinto beliefs, particularly the concept of kami, the spirits or deities that inhabit all aspects of life. In Shintoism, everything from natural elements like rivers, trees, and mountains, to human beings has a spiritual essence or kami. These spirits are not necessarily benevolent, but they play a crucial role in the lives of humans, often guiding or testing them in ways they cannot fully understand. In the context of your name, the presence of kami is felt throughout the story, especially in the form of the Musubi shrine and the spiritual rituals that Mitsuha performs. The Musubi shrine is a key element in the film, serving as a spiritual center that connects the past, present, and future. The shrine is dedicated to a deity that guides Mitsuha's family, and it plays a critical role in the connection between her and Taki. Mitsuha's spiritual practices, including her rituals and the offerings she makes to the shrine, are not just acts of faith but are also part of a larger divine plan, one that connects her to the future in ways she does not fully understand. One of the key spiritual symbols in the film is the red ribbon Mitsuha gives to Taki. In Japanese culture, the red thread is symbolic of the red thread of fate, a belief that a red thread connects soulmates, binding them together despite distance or time. The ribbon becomes the physical manifestation of this spiritual bond. It is not just a simple gift, it is a sacred object that links their fates across time, a thread woven by the kami themselves. Mitsuha and Taki's love as a spiritual journey. The love story between Mitsuha and Taki is not merely one of romantic attraction, it is, in fact, a spiritual journey. From the moment Mitsuha and Taki begin to swap bodies, they are forced to live in each other's shoes, experiencing the world from a perspective that is foreign to them. This exchange of lives is more than a magical occurrence, it is a divine test, orchestrated by the kami who seek to guide them toward a deeper understanding of themselves and each other. Mitsuha's journey through time is particularly significant. It is not simply about experiencing Taki's future, it is about coming to terms with her own identity and her town's impending destruction. In her dreams, she glimpses the future, a future where her town, Itamori, is devastated by a comet. But she does not simply watch passively, she takes action. Her connection with Taki is the catalyst for her understanding that she has the power to change the future. She acts not only to protect herself but to save the town that she loves. Her journey is thus a form of spiritual awakening, guided by the invisible hand of the kami, who are using Taki's life as a mirror through which she can see her own fate. Taki, too, undergoes a spiritual transformation. At the start of the film, he is a regular high school student, unaware of the forces shaping his life. His encounter with Mitsuha, though it begins as a strange experience, slowly reveals to him a deeper connection with the universe. His seemingly random actions, like meeting Mitsuha's grandmother and later visiting Itamori, become part of a larger plan, one that he could not have foreseen. Taki's journey is one of discovery, not just of Mitsuha, but of his own purpose. It is as if he is being guided by a divine force, one that uses Mitsuha to help him realize his own potential. The way Mitsuha and Taki's paths cross, despite the odds, speaks to the power of spiritual forces. Their love is not merely an accident, it is the result of a higher power weaving their fates together, creating a bond that transcends time and space. It is only through their spiritual awakening that they are able to understand their connection and take the necessary actions to prevent disaster. The absence of names, the divine mystery. One of the most intriguing and symbolic aspects of your name is the absence of names in the connection between Mitsuha and Taki. At first, the fact that they cannot remember each other's names might seem like a mere plot device, a way to preserve the mystery of their bond. However, this element is far more profound when viewed through the lens of Shinto spirituality and the idea of divine intervention. In Shinto beliefs, names are not just labels, they are powerful symbols that carry spiritual significance. To know someone's name is to hold power over them, to define them in a specific way. Thus, the fact that Mitsuha and Taki are not allowed to know each other's names speaks to the divine intention behind their meeting. In the context of your name, the kami, or supernatural forces, intentionally withhold their names because it is not for them to decide their fates just yet. The characters must navigate their connection without relying on labels or external definitions. Their bond is not one defined by societal expectations or romantic notions alone, but by a deeper, spiritual connection that transcends the constraints of time and memory. The withholding of names is a symbolic gesture, a divine mystery that forces Mitsuha and Taki to confront their connection on a more profound level. It pushes them to build their relationship not on the foundation of knowing who they are to each other, but on the connection itself, which is felt deeply in their souls. This divine mystery surrounding their identities also ties into the larger spiritual test that the kami have set for them. In many ways, the characters' love story is a test of trust, faith, and perseverance. By withholding their names, the kami ensure that their bond cannot be formed through convenient answers or easy paths. The relationship must grow from the raw, unspoken connection between them, something that transcends logic and reason. As the audience watches, it becomes clear that this divine test is about more than just bringing them together. It's about how they, through their efforts and choices, will bring meaning to their connection. When Mitsuha finally gives Taki the red ribbon, it symbolizes the final, necessary step in the spiritual journey toward understanding their love. This act of faith marks a turning point in the film, as it represents a step away from the confusion of unspoken connections and toward an acknowledgement of a deeper bond that has always existed between them. The ribbon is not just a physical object, it is a gesture that connects their souls, providing them with the final piece of the puzzle needed to understand their connection. It is only when they have passed the test, when they have traversed the spiritual obstacles laid before them, that their names can be revealed, and their love can be fully realized. The final act of love, the ribbon and the reunion. The red ribbon, gifted by Mitsuha to Taki, is the symbolic culmination of the divine intervention that has guided their lives toward each other. The ribbon itself has multiple layers of meaning, but it primarily represents the connection between their souls that has existed all along, even if they weren't aware of it. The act of giving the ribbon is not only a physical gesture, it is an affirmation of their bond. It marks the moment when the characters move beyond the abstract connection of time travel and enter into the reality of their shared fate. This moment is a quiet one, yet it is filled with profound spiritual significance. It is as if the act itself completes a sacred circle that has been in motion since the very beginning of the story. But it is not simply the ribbon that marks the moment of their spiritual fulfillment. The culmination of their love is ultimately revealed in their reunion, a reunion made possible by their shared connection to the divine forces at play. The Kami have not simply guided Mitsuha and Taki's lives, they have shaped their destinies to ensure that their reunion will occur at the right moment, when both have experienced spiritual growth and understanding. The reunion is not merely a romantic resolution but a deeply spiritual one, as it signifies the fulfillment of a journey, one that was not just about meeting each other, but about discovering themselves through each other. The final moments of Your Name are particularly significant in this context. When Mitsuha and Taki finally meet, their reunion is not instantaneous. They still struggle to recognize each other, even though they know they are connected. This hesitation, this sense of recognition that takes time, is another spiritual element woven into the story. The reunion is not a simple act of fate, it is the result of years of spiritual preparation and sacrifice. The characters are brought together, but they must still earn their reunion by searching for each other, guided by the invisible threads of fate that have always connected them. Their reunion represents the completion of a spiritual journey that transcends time. The divine forces, represented by the Kami, have guided them to this point, but it is their choices, their faith, and their willingness to trust in the unseen that ultimately bring them together. In the final moments, as Mitsuha and Taki finally recognize each other's names and their destinies intertwine, the film suggests that love is not a passive force. It is an active, spiritual journey that requires effort, faith, and connection, one that, when nurtured, can transcend the limits of time, memory, and space. The larger spiritual and philosophical implications. Your Name offers more than just a love story, it presents a meditation on the larger spiritual and philosophical forces that govern our lives. One of the key themes in the film is the balance between fate and free will. While spiritual forces guide the characters, they are not passive participants in their journey. Mitsuha and Taki must make decisions that shape their futures, and it is through these choices that their destinies come into focus. This duality between fate and free will is at the heart of the film's message. The characters are not simply being led through life by an unseen hand, they are co-authors of their own stories. This theme of balancing fate and free will is one that resonates with viewers on a universal level. It raises questions about the role of divine forces in our own lives. Are we simply passive participants in a grand design, or do we have the agency to shape our own destinies? Your Name suggests that while spiritual forces may guide us, it is ultimately our choices that determine the course of our lives. Love, too, is not something that is simply given to us by the divine, it is something we must actively seek and nurture. In this way, the film also speaks to the human desire for connection and meaning. It reminds us that while we may not always understand the forces shaping our lives, there are invisible threads that bind us to each other. The red ribbon symbolizes this unbreakable bond between Mitsuha and Taki, but it also serves as a metaphor for the connections we all share with one another, whether we understand them or not. The universal appeal of your name and its spiritual resonance. Your name resonates deeply with audiences around the world because it taps into universal themes of love, loss, fate, and identity, while also incorporating spiritual concepts that transcend cultural boundaries. The film's exploration of divine forces and the influence of kami is rooted in Shinto beliefs, but the broader spiritual themes in your name speak to human experiences that are universal. In many cultures, the belief in forces beyond human comprehension, whether gods, spirits, or the universe itself, guides our understanding of love, life, and connection. For viewers who are unfamiliar with Shinto, the film provides a beautiful introduction to the idea that our lives are not simply isolated events but part of a larger, interconnected web of spiritual forces. Whether it's the red ribbon, the spiritual rituals, or the celestial imagery, your name presents the idea that fate is not a singular, deterministic path. Instead, it is an ongoing, living force, guided by something greater than ourselves. This understanding resonates with audiences around the world, regardless of their personal beliefs, because it touches on a deep, human need to feel connected to something beyond the material world. In the story, Mitsuha and Taki are separated by time, yet they are bound together by spiritual forces. Their connection transcends physical distance and time, demonstrating how love and fate can extend beyond what is visible or tangible. The presence of the kami as guiding forces helps to explain why they are drawn together. This divine intervention is not an external force that controls their lives but one that nudges them toward each other, helping them realize their purpose. Their love becomes a spiritual journey in which they actively participate, discovering that love is not simply a matter of chance or circumstance. It is a sacred force that requires effort, trust, and a willingness to grow. The idea that love transcends time is a recurring theme throughout your name, and it adds to the emotional depth of the film. Mitsuha and Taki's journey is not just about finding each other in the present moment, but about understanding their bond across different timelines. The power of their love is magnified because it is not bound by the limitations of time and space. This is a timeless message about the strength of human connection, that true love is not confined to the here and now, but extends into the past and future, guided by forces that we may not fully understand. At the same time, the film underscores the importance of free will within the structure of fate. While the divine forces guide Mitsuha and Taki's journey, they are also active participants in shaping their future. They make choices that impact each other's lives, whether it's Mitsuha's actions to change the course of the comet or Taki's decision to meet her. The balance between fate and free will is a powerful philosophical message of the film, suggesting that while our paths may be shaped by external forces, we still have the agency to choose how we respond to them. In doing so, we create our own destinies and find meaning in our experiences. Love beyond time, a sacred connection. The final message of your name is perhaps one of the most profound. Love, in its purest form, is a sacred connection that transcends time, distance, and even understanding. As Mitsuha and Taki meet in the final moments of the film, their connection is not just one of romantic fulfillment, but of spiritual awakening. They have undergone a journey together, shaped by forces beyond their control, yet they have emerged with a deeper understanding of their bond. The film ends with the suggestion that this love is not fleeting, but eternal. As Taki and Mitsuha walk away from each other after meeting, they feel an overwhelming sense of recognition, yet they have no words. The encounter is brief, but the bond remains. Their final meeting represents the culmination of their spiritual journey and the fulfillment of the red thread of fate that connected them. It speaks to the idea that love is not always about possession or proximity. It is about recognition, connection, and the willingness to understand and nurture that connection, no matter the obstacles. The beauty of your name lies not just in the romantic story between Mitsuha and Taki, but in its portrayal of love as a powerful, transcendent force, one that is not easily defined or explained, but is felt deeply and eternally. It reminds us that while we may never fully understand the forces shaping our lives, we are always connected to one another in ways that are both mysterious and profound. The presence of the divine in your name shows that love is not just a human experience, it is one that is guided and shaped by the universe itself. The red thread that binds Mitsuha and Taki is not merely symbolic, but real and tangible, connecting their souls across time. Their love, though tested by time and fate, proves that spiritual forces do not control our destinies, they guide them, allowing us the freedom to choose, to love, and to ultimately find each other. Conclusion: the sacred dance of fate and free will. In the end, your name offers more than just a love story. It is a meditation on the sacred dance between fate and free will, and the powerful spiritual forces that guide our lives. The film's exploration of Shinto beliefs and the divine connection between Mitsuha and Taki shows how spiritual forces shape our relationships and destinies. It reminds us that while we may not always see or understand the forces at work in our lives, there is a divine plan that connects us to one another, a plan that unfolds in its own time, in its own way. Love, in your name, is not just an emotional connection, it is a divine bond, guided by the unseen hands of the Kami and the red thread of fate. As the characters navigate their lives, they are not simply trying to find each other, they are discovering something much deeper, the eternal connection that binds them together across time, space, and even memory. In the end, it is not just the meeting of two people that matters, but the journey they take to find one another, a journey that transcends time and space and reminds us of the sacredness of love itself.